Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm just going to talk about the new earth. Now the Christian Bible, they call it the rapture. So I just want to do a little research on this stuff and found out some information about future timelines and events and stuff like that. Just looking into this stuff with open mind. I'm not saying all this stuff is like legit or not like that. Just looking at it from open mind. So let's just see what we can find out along the way.
Okay.
Now in this video, this is someone interviewing a man who said he's so-called work for the, I guess, military. He's a whistleblower, talking about how they're using some type of device called Project Looking Glass. It's some type of device they can use to see within different timelines of future events, and they're trying to. What he's saying is they're trying to, these controllers or whatever, are trying to manipulate us people on the planet to manifest a destructive timeline. I mean, yeah, remember, you guys are manifestors here. So we're being manipulated to go down this destructive timeline, which is something that they want, not the other timeline. So many different timelines that we could choose, not just a couple. And they're aware of this, and they're using people who have like psychic abilities and all this stuff as well. And he's basically gonna just break all this stuff down into more better details.
Okay, so to get back to Looking Glass and the futures, you do converge, um, and the notion of, is there anything else that you can tell us, that you would want to tell us about that and the rest of the laundry list of sort of information that you had directly to for yourself or through someone that you had vetted?
The biggest cherry on top of all this conversation would be a synopsis to say that if I could convince everybody out there that for all intents and purposes, what we believe to be true eventually becomes true. If somebody convinces us that a major disaster is going to happen in the very near future, a major disaster happens in the very near future. If we don't buy into that fear and accept that there's really nothing that we know is going to happen, and accept of whatever happens, that makes the convergence of the timelines happen as naturally as possible. Any attempts to try to go away from this one inevitable conclusion, I again see as a new beginning, an end of this reality, the beginning of something that we can't even possibly understand based on the level of our beliefs currently. But when all that information comes flooding out, there's going to be no denying what's true and what's a lie or what's illusion. We won't have the choice to believe that 9/11 happened because of a bunch of terrorists, because we'll know exactly what's happened. Basically, what we're experiencing right now is two master chess players sitting at the board, and one of them looks down at the board and sees that he's in checkmate in 7 moves, and he looks across at his opponent and he knows that his opponent sees it too, so there's no getting out of it. So at this point, the loser can only prolong the game. The game, both players know the game is over. It's only a matter of time before he does this, and then you're forced to do this, and then he's forced to do this, and eventually checkmate. We, as a race if we could understand that the game is over. That based on the rules of the game, the bad guys have already lost, the good guys have already won. Yes, there's moves left on the table, but those moves are being forced by the player that is going to win. The only way that checkmate can't happen is if the player that's winning makes a mistake. But from all of the information that I've gathered, all of the information that's been given, all of the information that's been vetted to me, it seems pretty obvious that the good guy player on the side of the chessboard knows exactly what has to be done to win the game. And so at this point, any mistake would be all but impossible. But again, you really have to understand the game to know that the guy that's losing is lost. And I'm sure most people sitting watching a chess match between two advanced chess players know the game's over long after the two players know it's over. Because they can't see the board and see that there's only 7 moves left.
Okay, but when we come to this convergence, and again, you've seen, or the looking glass has seen up to that point.
Now, let me say why I believe that it comes down to one inevitability, is because I was entrusted in getting it down to 2 possibilities. And I've heard both of those possibilities talked about in massive proportions, the good and the bad.
Okay, do you want to so can you, in one sentence, say what the good was and the bad was, or are you able to do that?
To most easily put it to people,
I suppose.
one scenario is what most people would understand to be ascension, or an evolution of consciousness.
Basically, it's kind of like what we're dealing with now. This video is pretty old, but you see what's going on this planet. A lot of people's consciousness is evolving. Okay, but the question is, what's the cause of these effects? What's causing us to uplift our consciousness? So basically, you guys are ascended from, they call it a 3rd density state of consciousness to 4th density state of consciousness, and up and up and up.
Brings us out of the cocoon and turns us into a butterfly. Timeline 2 is some kind of major global catastrophe that drives most of us underground and leaves a few of us on top to fend for ourselves.
Very well put. Okay, so I would imagine, and you can.
But I would also like to point it out that they call Timeline 2 Timeline 2. It seemed very odd to me that even back then it was identified as not 1. And that
Okay.
one
is the
didn't
ascension
get
one.
talked about.
Okay, but 1 is the one that involves what in essence would be ascension, or moving into, from the cocoon to the butterfly. Okay, but
So that ascension to me represents what? It's moving into the new earth timeline? Like what is described in the Christian Bible, I saw a new heaven and a new earth. Or what they would call the rapture. I'm pretty sure they had psychics and mediums back in ancient times too.
I believe, based on what you're telling me, that they would have used a lot of people like you that had a proclivity for being able to see the future, to be what is a sort of an advanced psychic remote viewer, whatever you want to call that, and looking glass, to posit these potential futures, to go up to that point and to view it, and that you're just one of many. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. And back in 1991, when I began my little adventure in the military, I would say that it was pretty obvious that there wasn't very many of us. However, you go 20 years into the future and you find out that it's coming to the point where there's a lot of people that have that ability, that are inherently realizing that ability, and are able through some unknown extraordinary means to develop that ability inside themselves without any outside help or assistance. And it's quite obvious that as far as advanced intellectual abilities, as far as simple intelligence levels, and cognitive skills of the human race has increased exponentially in the past 20 years. And people that were 10 years old in 1991 are now 30 years old and fully awake and conscious of this burning inside that says, I am a lot more than what I see in the mirror.
Absolutely. Okay. I do have a question.
Basically, I guess you say some of us starting to realize that, hey, we're souls having human spirits. We're not these physical bodies, these avatars, which is no different than a character in what? A game, right?
Question in regard to what the military-industrial complex has been working on. Because with the knowledge that you say they have, assuming that they have this level of knowledge that you're talking about, right? In other words, of the timelines converging and the fact that there was going to be something. And I don't know if you saw the movie or the TV show Fast Forward. I mean, but there's been so many possible, scenarios in that regard. But one of the things that goes on is they are very busy building underground bases, supposedly underground cities. And so they seem to be hedging their bets.
Now you can type that up on YouTube, underground like bases and tunnels and stuff like that. They got these semi trucks all up in there, storage. They got food storage. They got plants. They got boats, water. It's like they getting ready for something.
For the negative timeline. And putting their emphasis there. And would you say that that is because why would somebody want something negative to come true? Well, of course, the Illuminati have a program that they're working on in that regard. But basically, the sort of well-meaning military that just goes after contingencies, and is just working towards a future that they want to prevent or deal with when it comes. Can you explain why they have been hedging their bets to such a degree on the negative?
It's very simple. They're insane. And beyond insane, they have literally deluded themselves into believing that they can somehow manage to get away with what they're trying to get away with. There is a distinct lack of reality in that thinking.
Okay, what about the notion that CERN, for example, is engaged in trying to beat that game, as you call it?
I would say, look at the problems CERN has had.
CERN, check that out on YouTube. It's kind of like they're a portal. It's almost like a Stargate.
Crazy little things that have kept that project from moving forward. Certainly they have never even come close to getting that project to the level that they want it to be to do what they really want to do with it.
Okay, well, what about the notion that that's the party line, that they haven't been able to do so? But if you really think about it, that's what they would prefer people believe, so that they don't think that there's a threat.
But when you listen to the interviews of the scientists that are working on the project, even they say that it seems like somebody or something from the future won't let them get that project done. And the craziest little things have caused massive damage to that project. And when you get the foremost thinker in string theory saying, yeah, I don't think we're going to do it because I don't think fate wants us to do it, that says something about a scientist.
Okay, so, well, thank you very much. I think that at this point we're going to have to close this down unless there's...
Yeah, so that's some pretty interesting stuff, you know. I mean, hey, Earth is it's a school, it's a learning process. You know, unfortunately, some people are not doing too good with their free will, right? They're using it for destructive purposes. You know, they see it as, you know, living here in this planet is like it's like we're in school. You know, we're here to learn. It's like, you know, can you imagine playing? You know, it has to be obstacles in our way for soul growth. It's kind of like playing a video game with no obstacles in our way. What's the point of me playing the game? It's boring, right? You know, it's kind of like the movie Jumanji when they went inside the game. You know, they here to experience the game, not to be part of the game. And they had these obstacles in their way. They had to overcome it in order to graduate from the game. And when they were able to graduate from the game, what did they say? Jumanji. And they were let out of the game. So it's kind of similar to what we're dealing with here on this planet. It's just how I see things, you know. But, you know, in order to leave the Earth School, graduate from Earth School, you don't have to say Jumanji or nothing like that. You know, you learn your lesson, became a master of self. And so now you can move on to the next chapter in your soul growth and development. That's just how I see stuff here. Now, this man named Edgar Casey lived about 100 years ago. He talks about this new Earth stuff in his time. And, you know, you can see the future map of the Earth and all that going through Earth changes, pole shift. I guess it's probably why they're trying to hide underground or something. You know, he foresaw this stuff coming. This planet goes through changes. You know, it's a good video that I like about Edgar Casey, that he breaks down the Revelation, the Bible, pretty well. And come to find out, he said it really has a lot to do with the human anatomy. You know, I'll post a link to that video below in the description box. And also there's another good video that I like by Edgar Casey called Remembering Egypt. It gives you a little glimpse of how things used to be in Egypt thousands of years ago. Before, you know, this darkness took over the planet. And there's also a good book that I like, that I brought. Let me show you the book I have. It's called You Can Avoid Physical Death. It's a pretty good book. And on the back of the book, it just talks about the chapters that it's talking about. Like making a choice to ascend with your physical body, knowing who you are and why you are here on Earth, shifting your dimensional state of consciousness, avoiding fear, accept change, understand time, space, releasing false beliefs, sickness, and pain, understanding your Merkaba energy field, universal laws related to your spirituality, the end times, the shift, the photon belt. So it's a pretty good book I would recommend. See this video right here? Talk about this video. It's basically this video. This guy, you know, during Hypnosis Challenge, his session, talks about the missing plane back in 2014. I mean, they should have a hard time finding this plane. They had black boxes inside these planes where they could find their location, right? Well, his higher self explained what happened to that missing plane. They even caught it on film.
In the beginning, after a great devastation, Metatron must state that
This flight had lost control because there was a malfunctioning in the system of the airplane's functioning, because of which the pilots of this aircraft had taken a 180-degree turn in order to return back to the original location. However, because of the imbalance in the navigation system, this aeroplane primarily was unable to reach the desired destination as the pilot had requested. However, since the passengers on the airplane were mostly of a positively oriented vibration, and these entities they had reached the level of fourth density, and many of them were wanderers in the space-time of the Earth planet. Because of this, and because of the plea which was made by those entities during the flight's missing time, the plea reached the Council of Planets, and the Council of Planets directed the Galactic Federation to intervene. Thereupon, the so-called Aster Command spacecrafts were sent to escort the flights and take it through a portal into the new Earth. Therefore, this is the answer which is available in the Akashic records of your space-time, and I, Metatron, must state that the entities have already reached the new Earth, as they have graduated, and all the entities are primarily in a different dimension of the new Earth. The other query relates primarily with the aspect regarding.
So yeah, I found that pretty interesting. He's shifting into a different dimension, okay? Kind of like what Edgar Case was saying. It's kind of like when you talk about dimensions, kind of like, if, to me, like a parallel Earth or something like that. Kind of like the TV show back in the 90s called Sliders. And kind of like the Spider-Man movie, and we had different Spider-Mans from different parallel Earths. You know, that's just how I see this dimensional jump stuff. Let's check out another video from a lady named Dolores Cannon. She's a hypnosis practitioner who created QHHT.
And I have clients that say, I can't forgive them, you don't know what they did to me. But as long as they think like that, they are holding on to karma. You're going to have to come back and do it again with the same people, same circumstances, only worse next time. So what we're told people, you've got to let it go. And I tell my clients this all the time. This is usually the cause of their illness. It's the cause of all their problems. Holding on to all the garbage and the junk and the baggage that we carry around with us.
Poisons us on every level.
That's what I say. It gets to the point that it doesn't matter if you were abused as a child. You got to let it go. Doesn't matter if your husband beat you up. You got to let it go. And people, you have to forgive. You have to release it, or you're not going to go. And I have clients that say, I can't forgive them, you don't know what they did to me. But as long as they think like that, they are holding on to karma. You're going to have to come back and do it again with the same people, same circumstances, only worse next time. And it's not easy, because we do carry all this baggage around.
Kind of like Joshua, you know, some people call him Jeezy. He forgave those who done him wrong, to betrayed him, backstab him. You know, he forgave them. You know, that's the Christ consciousness.
With us, and you have to let it go. And you'll feel such a wonderful relief when you do.
I mean, you could forgive those that done you wrong, but it doesn't mean that they're exempt from their bad karma that they're going to have to receive. You know, we do the crime, we do the time. That's how things work.
Absolutely.
So I tell people what you have to do, even if the person you're angry at and have all these bad feelings, even if they have already left the earth, if they've died, you can still release this karma. You don't have to go to the person and face them face to face. That's very hard to do. You can do it mentally. And when you come into this earth, you make contracts with all of these people that you're going to try to work these things out. We get here, it's not that easy, and it doesn't always happen. We get stuck in the same rut again. So I tell them, when you're going to do this, picture yourself tearing up the contract with that person. Tell them, we tried. You do this mentally. We tried, we really tried, it didn't work. Let's tear up the contract, and you see yourself tearing it up and throwing it away. And you say, I forgive you, I release you, I let you go. You go your way, I'll go mine. We don't have to be connected anymore at all. You've got to mean it. You've got to believe it. And
Very
when you
important.
do, they have no more hold over you. They may try. They might try to push your buttons because they know what buttons to push. But if you really sincerely release them and let them go, you won't have any more problems. They'll try and it won't work because you have changed. The second thing, you have to let go of fear. Fear is a very paralyzing emotion. If you don't understand something, you're afraid of it. And as long as you have fear, you're helped to the old earth, because that's where the fear comes from. That's why I tell people, don't buy into the things that you see on television. Don't buy into what you have in the newspapers. Think for yourself. It's all to generate fear. The church is just as bad. Generate
Absolutely.
fear. The government is to generate fear. As long as they can generate fear, they will keep you suppressed. So don't buy into it. Think for yourself. And if you hear something that doesn't make a lot of sense, ask a lot of questions. I always think, well, why are they saying this? Why are they trying to spread this notion? It's there for a reason. What are they trying to do? You start asking questions and then make up your own mind. Then you develop your own truth. It may not be what I believe or what anyone else believes, but it is your truth.
Yes.
Don't
It's like history, right? His, H-I-S, his story. History, his story.
give your power away to anyone.
Yeah, I just wanted to show y'all guys that video.
What do Elon Musk?
So basically, we just don't want to get caught up in all this negativity. Like I try not to watch the news. Try to stay away from it. Try to just focus on a different type of timeline, different type of positive outcome. Let's check out this other video. Dolores Cannon video.
Param Shanti. Today we will discuss the knowledge that Dolores Cannon shared about.
This is a hypnosis practitioner, Dolores Cannon. She passed away back in 2014, and she's talking about the new earth, like Edgar Casey and Nostradamus talked about and predicted. And it pretty much breaks down how things going to be around this time of this new change into the new earth timeline.
About the new earth. Dolores Cannon received this information through her quantum healing hypnosis sessions, where she was able to connect to higher dimensional beings. The information in this video is from her lectures and books. Dolores was told that the earth is going through a period of transformation. The earth is shifting into a higher dimension, and if humans want to go to the higher dimension along with the earth, then they must match their vibrations with the new earth. The earth will shift with or without humans, as it is a definite event that is occurring for the planet. Due to the increase in vibrations and frequency, the time on Earth has also increased and is going by faster. This is a proven detail that has been mentioned by scientists who have studied the frequency change of the Earth. According to the higher dimensional beings, humans have gotten to a point where they might destroy the Earth. So, the only way to help the Earth is by changing the vibrations on the whole Earth. Dolores was told that the whole universe is watching this shift occur, and it is known as the biggest show for them. It is a big deal to them because it has never occurred in the history of all of the universes where a whole planet is shifting into a higher dimension at once. Upon being asked further questions by Dolores, the higher dimensional beings said that they themselves do not know how humans will be able to pull this off. Many higher dimensional beings are sending light beams into the core of.
Yeah, I've been digging and digging, trying to find more information on this stuff myself. It's just, for about, 5 years now? Nah, this is completely new. It's going to be like, it's even new to the universe.
Core of the Earth from their spaceships. They are doing this to help keep the Earth's energies in balance due to the change in frequency. These light beams are helpful in keeping balance because the change in frequency will cause many natural disasters on Earth like tsunamis, earthquakes, and hurricanes. It will also cause the human body's DNA and cells to slowly change, which causes certain problems like blood pressure, tiredness, or dizziness due to the fact that we are shifting with the Earth. There will come a time in the new Earth where our bodies will completely change to the point.
So that DNA activation is like that junk DNA. I don't know if some of you guys heard about that. It's not really junk DNA. It's just DNA that has been dormant. And once it becomes activated, I guess some people might call it, hey, it's like you're transforming to literally like the X-Men. Edgar Casey, foresaw this too. He said when they moved to this new Earth, he said basically people's bodies are going to be more luminescent. He said light bodies.
Point where we will never get sick and we will live forever. The new Earth will have no karma and will be very beautiful, with very nice trees, animals, and sceneries that we have never experienced here before. When humans enter the new Earth, we will initially take our physical bodies with us. However, slowly our bodies will change into light bodies. At that point, we will not have to eat as we will be living off of light energy. Food causes the body to become dense, and in the new Earth, there will be no denseness. The whole Earth will become completely different. However, some people will be left behind on the old Earth. Negative, low vibrational humans will be the ones to be left behind because they will not be able to change their vibration.
So basically, if you see the future map of, like I showed you from Edgar Casey, future map of the pole shifting, like in the Bible, the rapture, like one would be taken, the other one would be left behind. And they made a movie called Left Behind. You can check that out on YouTube. I'm not saying that that's 100% accurate. It's just kind of like, some people are going to be moving into a complete different dimension, kind of like teleporting out of here somehow. Nobody knows how it's going to flow. Nobody understands how it's going to work. Like I said, it's completely new, but those who are not going to make the jump, we all have a choice, free will, they will be left behind dealing with the old earth changes, the chaos. You create your own karma, basically. Karma keeps you stuck, and it's staying stuck in fear. And as you can clearly see, that's all we're being fed on this planet, isn't it? Fear, fear, fear. Pro-fear, anti-love and light.
Vibrations with this shift. Dolores was told that the main reason in being left behind will be fear. The solution to stay away from fear is to avoid things like the news that instigate and spread fear in people. Dolores said that the wars, man made diseases, and medicines by the governments keep the people in fear and in control. Staying away from the illusion that is around us is the best way to keep our vibrations high. Dolores said that in this age of technology, where information can spread so easily throughout the world, people should think for themselves. People should question everything and not believe everything they are being told by the world. During this time of transformation, one should do three things to be able to shift into the new earth. One should let go of all karma, let go of fear, and love and forgive everyone. Those who choose to shift and change their lives with positive vibrations will be the ones to go into the new earth. Every decision creates a different reality. If humans focus on the new earth and high vibrations, then they will create that reality for themselves. The ones who stay in their negativity will continue to experience a negative reality. This is why the transformation will occur only through the thoughts and mind power by humans. Humans have the power to create a negative world, and they also have the power to change that world. Param Shanti.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting, about the new Earth's changes and stuff like that we're dealing with. As you can clearly see, it's a shift in consciousness going on this planet. And like they said, these dark forces are trying to manipulate us to stay stuck in fear and hate and anger and jealousy and greed to manifest us to go down a destructive timeline of self-destruction. Now, it's a book that I have called The 3 Ways of Volunteers in the New Earth by Dolores Cannon. Let's see, I'm going to read a chapter out of this book. It's called The Old Earth. It talks about kind of like basically what we're dealing with right now. See, Dolores Cannon passed away back in 2014. So let's just, keep an open mind with this stuff. But it's kind of weird how in this chapter in the book, it talks about what we're dealing with right now as we speak. I just find it kind of odd. But this is Dolores Cannon. She's saying basically to one of her clients that's under hypnosis named Anna. Okay, Dolores Cannon saying, so you said earlier that we would be here whenever the chaos breaks out. Will this be caused by many of these disasters? And Anna said, well, the disasters and the breakdown of the structures of the government and the breakdown of the safety net that most people feel they are part of, such as their social security, their paychecks, their jobs, and their religion beliefs, especially if and when ships or those other things like that begin to become part of our consciousness, that many are not prepared for. Therefore, they may run around and shocked and confused, unsure as to what's real and what's not. The structure of government is breaking and will break even more to the point of chaos, like a domino effect, like a crumbling. And this is Dolores Cannon. If the ships arrives, what would be their purpose for coming? And this is Anna. Well, they are always here. It's only a time for them to become visible as the permissions open up, because it's a time of not only free will as there is now, but also a time for others to claim their place in the new world, kind of like the new earth. And not just the humans, but others who also belong here, but are in a different vibration. So partly it is not that they choose to become visible, it's partly that the energies make them visible. I am aware that they have been here. This is Dolores Cannon. We've been working with them. I know they're positive. I had no problems with them. This is Anna. But by them becoming visible and part of consciousness of people and the government's coming to create the chaos and natural disasters, you can see how the majority of the people would be completely shocked. And their religions and their ideas of structured life would be brought down. So now they will have nothing to cling to. This causes a great deal of fear for those who have not stepped out of their own house. That fear could lead to madness, schizophrenia, and other types of reactions. And it is at this time and that kind of reaction that will leave people most vulnerable, where you can be the most service. And this is Dolores Cannon speaking. Well, then others like myself and Anna are some of the ones who are here to help. This is Anna speaking under hypnosis. Well, the ones who are prepared to see these changes are not crumbling in fear will be the pillars on which others will lean when nothing makes sense to them. It doesn't mean you will provide the truth to them. It just means that you will not be falling down like they are. And this is Dolores Cannon. Well, because I was thinking, what can we do when everybody's in chaos? This is Anna. Well, when you are not losing your mind and you are calm, it doesn't matter what you do. People will see that in you and seek in you because they don't know what to make out of what they're seeing. And you may not know what to make out of what you're seeing, but you have been prepared. Therefore, you will know and have some sense of trust that things will be okay. And you are not crazy. And this is Dolores Cannon. Well, the others won't have any preparation at all. Anna saying exactly. This is Dolores Cannon speaking. Well, you know that I have had many people come to me for the last 2 years who are either healers or they're being told by you, the subconscious part, that they are to be healers. We keep wondering why the world would need so many healers. This is Anna speaking. Well, do you know how big the population of the earth is? So it's kind of fun and kind of odd, that we've seen a lot of these UFO sightings and rumors of alien project, what they call it, blue beam. They're trying to fake an alien invasion to put fear and control of people, because a lot of you guys are unplugging from what some people higher self said, the Matrix. And they say yes, they plan on doing some fake alien invasion. You gotta see what's going on with Peru right now. Check that out. Being invaded over there by some entities, an attack, and nobody's really talking about it. But they say you guys are moving into a higher state of consciousness, and then they can't control you. They said 67% of you people on this planet has been unplugged from what y'all call the Matrix, which is pretty good. So they're trying to put fear into us to control you. So basically that's what we're dealing with here. Now I also want to show you this other video. In this video, this man's doing hypnosis. He's connected with the higher self, and he's basically talking about the new earth timelines and stuff like that, the evolution of humanity. And he talks about the great fear that's coming off of quite a bit of the people on this planet.
Each one of us has, and we all seek to be noticed, to be loved. We all willingly walk away from.
What if it hurts so much to love?
Betrayal. This age that we are letting go of now. It is the lessons of betrayal. Lessons of love. Each one of us, because we're walking blind, we hide ourselves, even from the closest companions that are in our lives. self, then the divine, the spark, these instincts that come from the divine can awaken you. Each person in this room now has the ability to awaken. You have the potential, the power to commune with yourself, your highest self is you. You need only surrender all of your fears to do this. Once you begin to let go of what you hide, many people here are hiding themselves daily. So many aspects of their being. They may prefer their sexual preference. There are so many things we hide away of our true selves. This place, it is consumed with fear. It is rampant.
Alright, you see what this higher self is saying? So basically, we got people out here just wearing masks, not being their truthful selves. You have soul contracts. Okay, I mean, you have to look within yourself with these answers. Okay? You got people out here wearing masks, hiding their sexual orientation out here. As you could clearly see what his higher self saying on this planet. It's becoming a major problem. It's kind of like, okay, here on this planet we have missionary work here to do, right? It's like, here you have a puzzle. So how can we ever complete this puzzle if you keep changing the shape that you were meant to be as a piece to this puzzle? We're never going to be able to complete the job, correct? Correct. So some of you guys out here, you know who you are. Quit wearing these freaking masks. I mean, that's self-love problems. You can't graduate from her school that way. If you're not hurting anybody, who gives a fuck? You know, you got to speak up. We ain't going to make no changes out here. A lot of you guys are here to break the matrix. That's been controlled by dark forces out here to manipulate us, destroy each other. It's kind of like, enough is enough, guys. Wounded warriors no more out here. It's time to step it up. We in this age of Aquarius, which means we're moving into a new timeline, a new cycle, a new earth. It's like, some people during hypnosis, they wanted to, it's bad when people who live in a beautiful life hate it here. They have the ideal life, still hate it here. They look up in the sky at night wishing they could go home. They know it ain't here on this planet. So they go under hypnosis. They thinking about killing themselves. That's how bad they hate it here. They can't stand the chaos, the violence. They don't understand it. The hate. They come to find out, the higher self said, you chose to come here. Yeah, free will. You came here to help raise the vibration of this planet. You're a healer. I was like, well, I don't know what I was thinking. I just had to come here. But I'm here, so I guess I got to do my job. That's what people find out. You got some people going to hypnosis realize, oh, hey, why am I suffering so much? Why I had such a hard life? And go into hypnosis and find out how yourself, well, you signed up to go through these issues and it's for you to overcome them, heal from them, and show your other soul companions how to do the same. That's what some people are dealing with. They find that out. Some people want to know, hey, why do I have the urge to want to eat all the time? They went into hypnosis therapy. The higher self said in the past life, their recent past life, this person starved to death. So that's trauma. Trauma is what? Experiencing something discomfortable. So that's trauma still embedded within the subconscious mind. So they had to heal that in this lifetime. Okay, you got some people going through hypnosis therapy found out, like, hey, why do I feel like I'm the wrong gender? Well, come to find out, higher self said, you spent so many past lives on this planet being a particular sex. Now in this lifetime, you're a different gender, and it's odd to you. You're in a different type of body. Remember, we're not these bodies. We're souls having a human experience. We're not these avatars called bodies. You chose your body. We have soul contracts, okay? So I just wanted to share this information with you guys, just to help expand our consciousness a little bit more on this planet. And, just pay attention to what's going on in the world, Why are we having all these unidentified flying objects all over the place? What's up with all the explosions all of a sudden in the times we're living in when they've been trying to hide this for the longest? Now it's wide open. So yeah, this is something to think about, and I just wanted to share that information with you guys, and I'm going to let you go.